Have you ever had a thought you wouldn't dare speak out loud? A daydream so vivid, so personal, it felt like a secret world only you could visit. For decades, our wildest fantasies remained just that, fantasies, locked safely in the theater of our own minds. But then, a key was forged. A key called Generative AI. Suddenly, you could type that thought, that daydream, into a box, and it would materialize before your eyes. A photograph of a place that doesn't exist, a conversation with a person who was never born, a story written exactly to your most specific, private desires. It was a revolution of imagination, a playground for the ID, and as of 2025, it's a crime scene. Governments worldwide didn't just see a tool for creativity, they saw a tool for chaos, for harm they could not yet define. So, they moved, not to regulate the AI, but to regulate you, the user, and in doing so, they have criminalized the digital shadow of your imagination. This isn't science fiction, this is the new legal reality, and you are likely already in violation. Let's be clear. The laws like the EU's AI Act 2.0, the US's Digital Personhood Act, and China's synthetic content mandate are not called the anti-fantasy bills. They are wrapped in the language of safety, of ethics, of preventing harm, and some of those harms are very, very real. But the definitions they use are so broad, so intentionally vague, that they cast a net wide enough to catch your most private creations. There are 3 new categories of crime you need to understand. First, the crime of digital resemblance. The Digital Personhood Act doesn't just forbid creating deepfake porn of a real person. That's the headline. The fine print is what matters. It establishes a legal concept called non-consensual digital identity, which applies to any synthetic media that a reasonable person could mistake for a real human being. Think about that. You prompt your AI. A photo of a brunette woman with a specific detailed description, a scar on her chin, green eyes, a slight smile, winning the Nobel Prize. You generate it. It's entirely fictional. But what if by a 1 in a million chance, that description matches a real person living in Oslo? Under the new laws, that image could be argued as a violation of her digital identity. You have created a digital doppelganger without its consent. The burden of proof is on you to prove the person doesn't exist. Your fantasy is now a legal liability. Second, the crime of unlicensed narrative. This is the most insidious one. The EU's framework outlaws the generation of content that depicts, promotes, or could be inferred to condone illegal or ethically questionable activities. Ethically questionable. Who defines that? A committee, an algorithm, a government body. Your fantasy about a dystopian rebellion. That could be seen as inciting violence. Your dark, gothic romance novel generated with AI assistance. The themes of obsession and tragedy could be deemed ethically questionable. The AI companies, to avoid massive fines, are now required to pre-screen and log every prompt that could be flagged by their ethical guardrails. Your private imagination is now on a corporate server, being judged by a set of rules you never agreed to. You no longer own your own prompts. They are data points in a compliance algorithm designed to protect the platform, not your creativity. Third, the crime of synthetic obscenity. This is the most controversial. Previous laws against obscenity dealt with real people or cartoons. 2025 laws close the Kai under AI loophole. They criminalize the generation of sexually explicit material involving any entity that appears to be a human, even if entirely fictional. The argument is one of societal harm and the potential for desensitization, but the effect is that a tool which could have been used for private, consensual adult exploration between adults and entirely fictional characters is now illegal. The state has literally legislated what you can and cannot imagine in your own private digital space. Your wildest fantasy, rendered in pixels that hurt no one, is now a digital contraband. You might be thinking, this is for the best. It stops the bad actors. And yes, it aims to, but when you outlaw a specific technology for generating an idea, you don't stop the idea. You only criminalize the ordinary person. The truly malicious actors will simply use unregulated, offshore AI models. They will always find a way. You, the law-abiding citizen, are the one who will hesitate before typing a prompt. You are the one whose creative history is now a liability. This is not about protecting people. Not really. It is about control. It is about the fact that for the first time in human history, our inner minds have an external, tangible output. and that terrifies the architectures of power. They saw a world where anyone could create anything, and they decided that anything was too dangerous a concept. So, where does that leave your wildest fantasy? It is now a data point in a compliance log, a potential violation of digital personhood, a synthetically obscene artifact. It is, in the eyes of the law, illegal. The genie is out of the bottle, and they are trying to put it in a prison cell. The question is, what happens to the magic it has already granted? What do you think? Is this the necessary price of safety, or the first step toward criminalizing thought itself? Let us know in the comments. And if you understand what's at stake, share this video. Before the algorithm decides this conversation is, itself, ethically questionable. Subscribe for more uncomfortable truths.